introduce to you Sean Anderson, who has a story that is unbelievable. He is a huge inspiration to me, and I just want to welcome him and let him tell you his story. Sean Anderson.
All right, good to be here. Wow. This is a crowd. Very nice. Before we get started, just a big round of applause for yourself for being here. But seriously, this is the first step. This is an important step. I called my cousin today. He lives in Michigan. He said, "What are you doing this evening?" He wanted to talk, and I said, "Well, I'm kind of busy this evening because there's a big losing weight kickoff community-wide challenge competition we're doing tonight." He goes, "Oh yeah? Where?" I said, "At the cafeteria." And he said, "Really? Really? Good luck with that." So I told him about it. He thought it was great. He wishes everyone the best. You have no idea who he is. That's all right. You know what's great about this? I'm seeing so many familiar faces and so many friendly faces and people that I've talked to on the phone, at the radio station, and perhaps I've never met before. And they're saying, "Oh, I've always wondered what you look like." And there's a downside to this for me, because now when I go around town, people are going to say, "Hey, that's that guy." I love ice cream. I'll tell you what, I've loved ice cream my entire life. Ice cream has been a huge addiction for me. I love it. You know, some people in their lifetime, they want to somehow, someday, they want to make it to Sturgis. You know, for other people, they want to make it to Graceland. For me, I want to make it to the Bluebell corporate headquarters in Brigham, Texas. I want to camp out at their front gates with a sign that says, "Millennium Crunch, I love you." That stuff is incredible. I didn't know that I don't think I'm the only one. Am I the only one that celebrates the invention of Millennium Crunch at least once a year? Okay, maybe so. That's all right. But no, when I started my journey, and I started, by the way, on September 15th of 2008, that was probably, I didn't count. Because when we try and we fail, we usually don't count those attempts. But it must have been the 50th time I've tried to do something in my life, because I've been overweight my entire life. As a kid, I was overweight. And I got to tell you, I was a kid overweight, and many of you maybe could relate to this, in an age where oftentimes I was the only overweight kid in my class. We certainly live in a different time today. And when I remember, I picked my kids up from elementary school, and over the years I couldn't help but notice the gradual increasing of the sizes of students. And so when I hear a news report on television talking about the obesity epidemic in the United States, not just with kids, of course, with adults, I know exactly how it's happened. And I tell you what, that was one of the things that inspired me to get started, was my oldest daughter going off to college. She went off to college last fall. And her entire childhood growing up, you know, kids only learn what they're surrounded with. Kids only know what you teach them. They look for you, to you for an example. And I set an example her entire childhood that was bad. So I sent her off to college nearly 100 pounds overweight. But all of those years I told myself, I have time. I have time. That's how, I'm young. She's young. We got time to deal with this. I'm not going to worry about this right now. So that was really a big problem for me, was seeing her pack up her vehicle and drive away to college with a weight problem that I gave her. So I thought, how can I just grab control? Because I've got to grab control. I'm going to die too young. And I also wanted to find a way to inspire my daughters and my kids to do the same and get healthy kind of as a way to make up for all of the bad examples and all of the, quad stackers and all of the deep dish pizzas over the years. But, and the couches and the ice cream bowls at midnight, and it can go on and on. But I've set a really horrible example. So I decided that I had to do it. And I decided, I gotta get serious. And I'd try it, and I'd last 2 or 3 days, and then I would fall off the wagon. And I would say, oh well, someday. My wife, I married my high school sweetheart. And for over 20 years, she's heard me say, someday. For over 20 years, she's waited. She loves me. She cares about me. She wants me to live a long, healthy life. And every time, I would maybe have a moment where I felt like, oh no, this could be it. She would say, when are you going to do something? Someday. I want to do someday. Well, I did a little research, and I cannot find a calendar with the word someday on it. You can't. You can look, but the word someday doesn't exist on a calendar. And that was my out. Oh well, someday. I got time. It wasn't until June 10th of last year that I realized that my time might be running out. I was at the doctor, and I was complaining. I was always short of breath, and I weighed 505 pounds. 505 pounds. And that day was scary. I've been to the doctor many times. Many doctors that said, Sean, you've got to do something now. If you don't do so, I've heard that speech over and over. I can't count how many times I've heard that. But June 10th of last year was different. Because she looked me in the eye and she said, you don't have that long to live. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. She said, your blood pressure here, it says right here in your chart just now, was 220 over 119. She said, if you were a pregnant woman, late in your pregnancy, and you came in with that kind of blood pressure, we would send you to the hospital for an emergency cesarean. That's how serious your blood pressure is. But she didn't stop there. I understood, like, okay, what are you saying, I gotta lose a little weight. I was trying to be macho. So whatever. Yeah, I know, I gotta do something. Yeah, I appreciate that. But then she went in graphic detail and started describing to me exactly what that high blood pressure was doing to my internal organs. What it was doing, and it was breaking them down. Just over the weekend, I had a brother that passed away at 42 years old of aortic dissection. The leading cause of that is high blood pressure. So it's a very real thing. Now, I didn't understand all of that until she told me, June 10th of last year. And the more she talked, the more I listened. And the more I listened, I started to cry. And this big old guy, just tears rolling. She had me. She had me. I knew right then that I had to start now. I couldn't do what I've done so many times before and say, I'll start Monday. Because I love Monday. Don't ask me to start on a Thursday. I don't think I've ever started anything on a Thursday. And if you look up the calendar and you say, well, he said he started September 15th, go to your phone and go, that was a Monday. I've never started anything on any other day than a Monday. Because that's the beginning of the week for me. Some people says it starts on Sunday. No, I'm not starting to diet on Sunday. But I knew I had to start now. I knew my time was up. This doctor convinced me. I was emotionally stirred. I didn't know if I was going to survive. And she already had me. Then she had to go one step further and just send me, into Niagara Falls.